All right, Shalom. First and foremost, gonna give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders, great millstone. Peace salutations to the men that are pushing this truth. And Shalom to the elect. Just finna get into this quick video. All right, on Revelation 18 chapter. Spirit just led me here, so just get into it. Hey, these are the days that we're coming into. All right, you see it with everything that's going on around the world. It's all leading up to Revelation's 18 chapter. All right, so this is Revelation 18 and verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. And see, this is the aftermath of the missiles hitting this place, and the lake of fire. All right, because when the scripture talks about the lake of fire, that's talking about Babylon the Great, aka America, being hit with 200 million missiles. All right, and it be utterly destroyed. All right, which from the sky, it's going to look like a lake of fire. All right, so what in this scripture is saying that after the aftermath, is gonna desert creatures are gonna inhabit this land. All right, get a couple precepts. This is Isaiah 34 and verse. I'll start at 8. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. Let's get this word controversy real quick. And see, this is all, the downfall of Babylon the Great is going to happen because what this place has done, to the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They don't regard us as being the children of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but rather just, niggas. All right, they treat us, worse than animals. All right. So, what did it say? It says, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. All right. The word controversy now. All right. What was that? Rayab. Yeah, Rayab. All right. Which says strife, controversy, dispute. Strife, quarrel, dispute, controversy, case at law. And see? So yeah, and that's why the scriptures say what? It's about to say in that Revelations 18, for her sins reaches unto heavens, So hey, this place got a case, against the children of Israel, all right? And Yahweh Shem Yahushai, as it says in Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, it says he looked and measured and behold, I'm just get it real quick. Kind of paraphrased it. Where's Habakkuk? Habakkuk 3 and verse 6. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations. All right. And this is the second coming of Yahushua right here. All right. So see, Yahushua, he's measuring the earth. He's seeing what's going on this earth. Are they following the law, statutes, and commandments? Is the ruler of this earth, upholding the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua? All right. What's going on with his people? All right. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. How are they being treated? He's measuring it all. All right. And obviously they are found, they're found wanting, So what? Now Yahushua, he's going to be part of the destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America too. All right. It says, and drove us under the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. And see, everybody, all the governments, all the rulers of this earth, starting off with Esau Edom, the so-called white man, they're all going to bow to Yahushua. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Oh, back to Isaiah 34. Isaiah 34 and verse, let me see, start at verse, or go back to verse 9. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. And see, all of America is going to be destroyed. Just like I just went into the lake of fire. All right, as the scripture says. So it's going to be a fiery, beautiful mess. All right. It says, it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation, it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. So see, hey, this is not going to be a place to, come and live no more. All right. After the destruction. All right. And this is just going to be a land totally just for, desert creatures, vultures, all right, scorpions, all right. It says, but the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. He shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. And see, the line of confusion goes upon what? Goes into what? Because what? America is divided into what? Many states. All right. Divided into what? 50 states. All right. But what? You're not going to be able to decipher like, oh, this was Indiana. This was California. Nah. You're not going to be able to do that. All right. Because it's just going to be it's just going to be totally like a desert. All right. But yeah, it says, but the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. So see, there ain't gonna be no people over here. Matter of fact, what it's like here. Isaiah 34 and 12. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. See, so they're gonna try to call over here in America after the destruction. Hey, then you're not gonna get a single. You're gonna get a straight voicemail immediately. Yeah, I'll keep on reading. It says, and thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and there shall be in habitations of dragon and a court for owls. So see, this place is gonna be totally, where the what's the shit called? The White House is, right now, that's gonna be a place where, animals are dwelling in. All right, it's gonna be all, wildlife there. All right. It says, the wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there, and find herself a place of rest. All right, there shall the great owl make her nest and lay and hatch and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, everyone with her mate. So see, this is what's coming for Babylon the Great, aka America. And you see millions of people here. Hey, it's gonna be nobody here but just animals. All right, just ants, just straight up animals. All right, because what they're gonna have to. Hey, Yabashim Yahshua, this is gonna be a feast. This is a feast. It's gonna be a feast for these animals. All right. That's why the scripture say what? A sacrifice and Basra. All right. Well, that's above, But the scriptures talk about, a sacrifice and Basra. All right. Basra represents, America. So again, Revelations 18 and verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right. Yeah, all nations of this earth, all right, drunken of the wine, all right, drunken of the ways of life, all right, their policies, all right, their philosophies, all right, and what they took it into their, their kingdom, all right, or their own people, all right. And what it caused, because what, you drink too much wine, what it causes you to get sick, and what now these nations are what they're seeing that what the ways, their policies is not, it's not for them, but rather the benefit of America and Israel, all right, which is going to cause, all right, these nations getting mad, which we are, shit, what am I talking about? They're already mad. Jeremiah 51:7, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So see, these nations are becoming mad. All right. And these nations, they're seeing how America's they just go in and they'll go in your land, basically like a motherfucking police, just ain't business. All right. And what Iran right now, is at war with America and Israel. All right, what did they do? They closed the Strait of Hormuz for America and Israel. All right, that's showing that what the nations are mad, and what Iran's just allowing basically anybody else other than America and Israel to come through, in the Strait of Hormuz, So yeah, back in Revelations 18 and verse 3 again. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And prime example is what Japan. Japan became rich, off of America. All right. After basically like maybe like 15 to 20 years later, after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, what they got rich off of America, because what America buys a lot of mainly cars, all right. So that helped them out in their what's it called? Their economy. All right. And many more nations, all right. It says, verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, all right. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh Shem Shai have remembered her iniquities. You see, and that's the elect. That the elect is going to be beamed up, all right. While the destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America, is happening, what the elect, they're going to be getting beamed up. All right, let's get that. Revelations 11. Revelations 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh Shem Shai entered into them. All right, and that 3 days and a half represents a 350-year period. All right, from 1619. All right, basically the start of slavery. All right, to 1969, which was the Great Awakening. All right, when Elder Abba Bivens, all right, first came up on the scene, teaching this truth. All right, and it started, the Great Awakening. All right, now we got our apostles of Great Millstone, the elder bishops. All right, now we're out here what to us younger brothers. All right, we're teaching this truth. All right. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh Shem Shai entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Yeah, these heathen nations. All right, starting off with Esau, Edom, so-called white man, mainly the elite. You know, they seen us. You know, they seen our apostles. On them streets teaching this truth. All right, and that caused great fear to fall upon them. Why? Because they understand that their kingdom is about to fall. All right, they're getting exposed for all their lies. All right, because they basically taught the world to believe that the so-called white man is a man of God. That the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which his name is Yahweh Shah, that he's a so-called white man with stringy hair. But all that shit started being uh taught that it was a lie. So verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And see, where the third world's war, we're in third world war, all right? But it's going to get to a point where what? Everybody's going to join in, all right? Russia, which is Gog, and, in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, they're going to join in, all right? And what? They're going to all shoot their missiles over here in Babylon the Great and totally destroy it, all right? But in the midst of that, what? Yahweh Shai, he's going to beam up his elect. As it says in verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, in that chariot, all right? The cloud represents a chariot, which the world ignorantly calls a UFO. It says that, and their enemies beheld them. Yep, so, hey, in the midst of the destruction, the elect is going to be getting beamed up, all right? Yahweh Shem Shai always had an elect, all right? He always had an elect, all right? Which, in the midst of chaos, destruction, he always preserved them, all right? He always kept them safe. It's going to be no different, this time, all right? While all these niggas are dying, all right? That's why I said what? In verse 13, what? And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. 7,000, 7 represents a complete amount of people. So whoever here is on this earth, or it's like on the soils of America, all right, they're going to be destroyed, but not the elect, all right? That 10th part of the city represents America, all right? America is divided into 10 FEMA zones, So yeah, this is what's coming. Revelations 18 and verse 5 again says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh Shem Shai hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she have rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she had filled to her double. Yep. So hey, they're gonna have to, everything that they've done, they're gonna have to eat of it double. And I'm glad to be an Israelite, Because shit, what they got coming, is gonna be far worse than, what they did to us, in the past, all right? Psalm 75 and verse 5, lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. And Esau, Edom, so-called white man, Donald Trump, what? Them niggas speak with they speak pridefully, all right? Call themselves the biggest and baddest, basically, that they're the most powerful, all right? But what? Verse 6, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But Yahweh Shem Shai is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another. And so see, hey, you got your kingdom because Yahweh Shem Shai set you up, not yourself. All right, not by your own, hands. All right, but because Yahweh Shem Shai allowed this kingdom to be set up, and what, as the scripture say, what he had bounds that he cannot pass. Roughly paraphrasing. All right, now your kingdom is up, and what, you're not gonna be able to when the Lord said this place is about to be destroyed, it's about to be destroyed. You're not gonna be able to, like, nah, we about to persevere, and nah, you're not gonna be able to do that. All right, verse 8. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. All right. But I will declare forever, I will sing praise to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. So see, hey, Esau, you're gonna have to drink of that cup too. All right, double. You're gonna drink you're gonna get, it's gonna be so bitter, as in the parable of Lazarus and the rich man. The rich man basically, he was. In fact, let me just get it real quick. Luke 18. That's Luke 18. Okay, Luke 16. Luke 16 and verse 19. There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And the rich man represents Esau, Edom, so-called white man. All right, basically living a lavish life. All right, every day is a blessed day for him. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores. Yep. Why? Because the curses. All right. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. Yep. The dogs represents the heathen nations, all right, which they profited off of our, us being in the lower state, set up, liquor stores, all right, beauty supply stores, Chinese, restaurants, all that, And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. All right. So see, and that's not talking about, hell or underground, fiery place. Nah, that's talking about, a position, or a condition that they're going to be in. All right. Because right now, America, Babylon the Great, this is their heaven. All right. As it says, I saw Satan, falling from fall, or let me get that real quick. Isaiah 14 and 12. Well, this is a good one, but it's not what I was talking about. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And see, Lucifer just goes into meaning light bearer. All right. And who says that they got the light of the world? That they got all the information that's basically beneficial for you, Esau, so-called white man, starting off with Amalek, all right, the so-called how can I say, the small hats, You got the Rockefellers, all right, the Rothschilds, all right. They're the ones that's in control of everything here on this earth right now, all right. But what soon to come, they're gonna fall from their heaven, all right. They're gonna be put down to the ground, So that heaven is not, or hell is not saying that they're gonna be put in, an underground place. Nah. All right. Where was that? Revelation. What was that? Luke. So yeah, it's gonna be a condition that they're gonna be in, So again, Luke 16 and verse. 24, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. And yeah, hey, they're going to basically want some ease off the hell that they're going to be catching. All right, in the kingdom, because what? They're going to have to serve 1,000 years of slavery. And that 1,000 years is going to be, you're going to, just like, it's not going to be like now where days is just flying by. They're going to have to feel every single day, They're going to have to feel that shit, all right? Because they did it to us, but now it's going to be double to you, See? That's why the scripture say what? Let's just get it real quick. Isaiah 47 and verse 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. All right. I'll start at 6. Isaiah 47 and 6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. And yeah, we went off, the nation of Israel, we went off. So therefore we was put under subjection under the so-called white man. Basically everybody, but mainly, the so-called white man, Thou didst show them no mercy, upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. So see, Esau took it too far, They got the old, they even got the old of our people working, Basically, what, the retirement age right now is what, 68, 69? Hey, a nigga can't fucking, you can't, enjoy life when you're 68, 69. You can barely move. You can't move as you did when you was in your 20s, all right, early 20s, 30s, But what, Esau don't care. Hey, he wants you to work, all right? You got work to do, nigga. Verse 7, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the letter end of it. So see, and what, Esau, they didn't put it in their minds like, hey, I'm gonna have to pay for this, I'm hey, when they kingdom get set up, I'm gonna have to truly pay for this, They ain't put that in their mind, So hey, in the kingdom, don't expect no let up. We're not gonna Esau, I see you've been working hard. You get a week vacation. Nah, it's gonna be none of that. You're not gonna have no so-called what you give us here, PTO. Nah, ain't gonna be no bullshit like that. Every damn day except for the Sabbath, you're gonna be working your ass off. All right, losing. You're gonna be a straight up just loser. Ugly as hell. No bitches. Matter of fact, you might have a woman. You are gonna have a woman just, so you can bring on more of your ugly fucks, so they can work. All right. It's gonna be a constant, and your woman, hey, they gonna be just terrible looking. All right. They're gonna give you hell. All right. They're gonna be committing adultery on you. All right. Because what the scripture say, what that they're gonna Deuteronomy 30:7, that these curses are gonna be put upon our enemies. Hey, our woman, they committed adultery on us. All right. Being a harlot in the street. So hey, you're gonna have to feel that, and your woman is gonna be terribly ugly, So again, Luke 16 and verse 25. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. So see, hey, that is going to say what? Damn. It's like it just slipped my mind, but hey, you got to receive for the wrong what you have done, roughly paraphrasing, So yeah, that was it on that. Back in Revelation 18. And 7. How much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And see, a queen, or it's like a woman, basically her main things in her life is her men and her children, you know. So imagine, a woman just suddenly losing that. That's basically she got no reason to live. So that's how much, sorrow that Esau's about to feel. All right. Off of the destruction of Babylon the Great, because this is all they got. Hey, once this bitch is down, hey, they're gonna know, like, oh my God, I'm about to go into slavery, Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, who judges her. Yep. What, everybody, all the heathen nations, they're all going to shoot their nuclear missiles here to Babylon the Great, aka America, all right, and destroy this place, all right? Including, Yahweh Shah and the chariots, all right? So that was pretty much it. Just want to hit on that. So Lord willing, bless on Zedify. I'm going to give all glory and the praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kakadash, double honors to the apostle and elders, great millstone. Peace, salutations to the men that's already pushing the truth. Shalom to elect, shalom.